If you're interested in deepening your meditation practice, you're in exactly the right place. I'll be honest with you though, my own meditation journey has been a rocky road of experimentation, trial and error. If I could zip back in a time machine to 1991 when I first started meditating, I'd have so many tips to share with my younger self. Instead, I'm hoping to save you time and frustration by sharing these easy and practical tips with you in this video. Does that sound good? If so, give the thumbs up a boop and keep watching. Hiya lovely, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Shirley from Sacred Huntress, helping you to create the life you deserve through healing, self-care and spiritual purpose. Now, what I'm going to say next, some of you might not like, but if you're really serious about deepening your meditation practice, then lean in. Knowledge in itself isn't power. What is empowering is when we translate that knowledge into action. So to pay close attention to the things that I run through that maybe you don't do already. And with one simple adjustment, you may just unlock the next phase of your spiritual journey. By the end of this video, you'll have 7 ideas for how you may be able to deepen your meditation practice. Now, these are a mixture of practical tools and mindset shifts as well, which have really helped me to cultivate and nurture a rewarding and consistent practice. And I'm sure that they're going to help you too. Plus, if you stick around till the end of the video, I'm going to be revealing a personal discovery, which was an absolute game changer for me. The first tip is to set your intention. Now, I can't stress the importance of this enough. If you have a crystal clear why you're meditating, then it will really help you through some of those tough spots that you might encounter along the way. So some people meditate because they want to de-stress. Other people meditate for physical benefits. Other people meditate to manage anxiety or to foster creativity or to clear their mind or to deepen their spiritual connection. Whatever your personal reason is your reason, and that's okay. But a crystal clear why will help you to reflect and see whether you're making progress towards your own personal goal, and also to help you through the tough times. The second tip is to be mindful of your success criteria. Now, Shirl, what do you mean by that? You're probably thinking this isn't what I signed up for, but stick with it. Success criteria is setting yourself up to win, because you can't control the quality of your meditation session necessarily. You can't control the levels of distractions, and we'll be coming on to distractions a bit later. But what you can control and you can check off as a win is whether you actually showed up. Make sure your success criteria is 100% within your control. And that way, you'll be able to empower yourself to feel good no matter what happens, as long as you actually show up. Tip number 3 is expectations. Now, what I mean by this is be realistic with yourself about what you're expecting from yourself in terms of meditation. So for example, if you expect yourself to do 30 minutes of meditation every day, but in reality, your schedule only allows for 5 minutes, then you probably won't get to the 30 minutes and then your practice will just fall by the wayside. So if you've only got 5 minutes, commit to the 5 minutes and celebrate the 5 minutes. Focus on what you can do rather than worrying about what you can't. The fourth tip is schedule it. What I've learned over the years is that what doesn't get scheduled just doesn't get done. So have a look at your timetable for the day and identify where your meditation session is best slotted in, because if you have a time identified, you're much more likely to show up and to complete that practice, which allows you to go deeper. Now, what I've also found on a practical level is that if you attach your practice to an already established habit, so for example, if you write morning pages or brush your teeth in the evening. If you've got something that you do every day, then attach your new meditation session to an established habit, and you're much more likely to keep on showing up for that practice and allowing yourself to go deeper. The next tip is distractions. Now, have you noticed that when you show up to meditate, there are so many distractions? The clock starts ticking really loud. You notice the tap dripping. The kids next door start screaming. A neighbour starts mowing the lawn. The dog starts barking. And that's not to even mention all the thoughts that crowd the monkey mind when we're trying to be all zen. The fact of the matter is that distractions are inevitable. And so when people ask me, how to deal with distractions, it's really a simple thing for me, a simple thing that I've noticed, which really shifts my perspective, and hopefully it will help you too, is that instead of focusing on the distraction, and I've done this myself, don't get me wrong, I've become enraged at a ticking clock, for example, that I can remember distinctly becoming like furious at the sound of a clock ticking. And if that happens to you, if you get really annoyed, then just, notice the distraction, notice the sound, notice the thought, and simply allow it. Just acknowledge that distraction and allow it to be, and bring your awareness back to the breath, or to the step, or to whichever activity. If you're watching a candle flame, if you're reciting a mantra, just bring your awareness back to your point of focus. And that's how you deal with distractions, and that will really help you to go deeper. The next tip is to experiment with different meditation styles. There are so many different ways to meditate, and if you're not sure about what styles there are to choose from, I've got a video which might be helpful for you, and I'll put a link in the description below and maybe a card up there somewhere. It really goes over a few different types that you may find interesting. So if you've tried one way and it hasn't worked for you, experiment with a different style. Now, even if you do have a style that works for you, at different times in our lives, different styles actually work better. So experiment and just discover what works for you that day and try that. Tip number 7 is show yourself some grace. Now, ultimately, meditation is a practice of being. So simply allow yourself to be where you are in that moment, in that day. Just allow your practice to unfold however it needs to. And meditation isn't necessarily a linear practice. It's not something that we progress. The progress bar doesn't go like this. It's kind of a spiral practice. And so just allow it to be whatever it needs to be without judgment that day, because showing up is the important thing. By continuing to show up, you're sending a really powerful message to yourself and to the universe that you're committed to this practice. You're committed to going deeper. You're committed to the goal that you've set yourself when you've set your intention. And so show yourself some grace in your practice. And we've arrived at our bonus tip. This is the personal revelation that was an absolute game changer for me. Now, it's simply this. To deepen your meditation practice, the most important thing is not necessarily the length of the session, it's the frequency with which you show up. So 5 minutes a day, 5 days a week, for example, is much more powerful than showing up once a week for an hour. I don't know why this is, but I just know that there's some kind of magic that happens when you show up frequently. It's almost like a snowball effect. And they're all the things that I wish I'd known about meditation 30 years ago. I hope that you enjoyed that, and hopefully you can enjoy and get some value out of these titles next.